Welcome to this video on how to submit a 2022 UFA voucher claim. This video will walk us through how to use the Expenses tab, the Claim tab, and show us a quick preview of the Match tab and Submissions tab, although they are not the primary focus of this video. And we'll see some of the cool upgrades from the changes of 2022. So let's go ahead and get started and learn about how to submit the voucher. The starting point for this UFA training video is the Expenses tab of the Voucher Workbook. The Expenses tab is where we will enter for each row one budget line expense for the claim period. Now, while we're on the Expenses tab right here, let's talk about what we see here. We have the grantee information, the grant information, and in this example, the grantee's name is Example, and the project name is RRH for Rapid Rehousing. The claim period has not been selected. That's actually selected on the Claim tab, but we'll see that when we get our exported PDF. We have our grant dates from the Claim tab, and we have the award amount from the Claim tab. Now, there's a button up here that allows us to clear all expenses. There's nothing filled in here, but this is pretty helpful for programs that have very different expenses from each claim submission. But for programs that don't have the or do have recurring expenses, and the only thing that changes is the date, then this button is probably not going to be utilized by them. And at the bottom, we have the totals of all the expenses for the budget lines, and those totals will populate into our Claim tab. So those totals will populate into this column. We'll see that momentarily. So you can see that we have on this program here, the Example grantee has the Rapid Rehousing Project, and they were awarded $326,000. So we're going to go ahead and add 5 expenses, one for each of the budget lines, and then one to show the totals. So I'm going to put in some arbitrary dates here. Obviously, what I'm about to do here is going to be pretty generic and non-descriptive, but programs should be more descriptive and add more detail than I'm about to just demonstrate in this video. This video is only for an example purpose. So I'm going to do example description here of a rental assistance expense. This is an example description of a support services expense. This is an example description of an HMIS expense. Like invoice paid, for example. Example description of an admin expense. And we'll grab another support services expense. So for rental assistance, I'll do $30,000. For support services, I'll do $9,000. For HMIS, I'll do $1,000. For admin, I'll do $1,420, and for a support services, I'll do $7. So let me change this one here to $1,420, and then for support services, $7,000. So note how for each row, only one column is filled in. And if you have a expense that applies to multiple budget lines, you have to put that expense on multiple rows and then use the different columns. So when we go to the bottom here, we have a total of $16,000 for support services, so the total adds up, and our other numbers drop down as well. So now we're done with the Expenses tab. We can move on to the Claim tab, and the Claim tab has automatically populated those expenses we just put in. Wonderful. And what we'll see in this column will be populated from our Submissions tab. So any submissions that are in this Approved column will be totaled up and go into this tab. And you can see that we have all those summaries up here. We have 0 pending expenses or pending claims based on these budget lines, 0 approved claims, and 0 rejected claims. So what I'll do is after we go through the submission process, I'll approve one of these real quickly to show how the numbers will move and such. Okay, so there's 2 buttons that you have on the Claim tab. You have the Save button, you have the Sign and Submit Claim button. You can press the Save button at any time just to prove it. I'll do it right now. I'll go ahead and hit Save. it tells me where this file is located, where I just saved it. And if I had submitted the claim, any exported PDFs would also be in this location. Do I want to close the file? No, I don't. Now the other button I can press is the sign and submit claim button, but that button can only be pressed when this box is filled out, the claim period start and end, and the program income section as well. So to prove it to you, I'll press it, and it actually yells at me and saying, hey, this information needs to be filled out before you can go ahead and actually run this. Okay, so I'll enter my claim period start and end dates. And I'm putting October 1st and October 31st, since those were the beginning and last expenses. I will say we did have program income, and we had program income of $710 or of tenant rent. So we'll do tenant rent in the second box. The total amount received is $710, and we received all $710, and we actually spent all of that $710 during the claim period. So before we submit this claim, all of the program income received during the claim period has been spent. So that's where this 100% comes out. Awesome. So at this point, we've completed our expenses, we entered our claim period start and end dates, and we entered our program information, program income information for the claim period. Wonderful. So now we can go ahead and sign and submit our claim. So to do that, we hit sign and submit. It first asks us, are we done editing? We are. So I'm happy with this. We can go ahead and hit yes, we're done editing. And it will ask us to enter our full name to sign this. All right, I'll enter my name here. And then now it's asking me for my title. Notice that if I don't enter my title, it will yell at me and won't actually let me continue. So that's one thing just to keep a note of. Technology Specialist. That is my title. All right. So right here, it just went us and said that, hey, this was saved. Would you like to close the workbook? And it's that same message you saw before. Well, I actually want us to go ahead and look at the folder location that we have this saved in. And hey, look at this. There's some PDFs in here. One of them with a V in front of it, one of them, I'm sorry, a C in front of it, an E, and an M. Well, let's take a look at that. So this is our claim tab right here, and it has all our information filled out. So this is a PDF record that we've signed, and we have the date, and we have the information that we submitted. That's awesome. How about our expenses here? That's E. There are all of our expenses. It looks good to me. It's easy to read. We can see how everything comes up. And lastly, this C tab. We didn't talk about it in the video because I wasn't going to show a demonstration of it. It's pretty simple. But we have our match dollars tab, which I didn't add any information for this video's purposes. But if your program has match income or match dollars, we need to include that. So just to go over that just briefly. So let me first address this prompt. I do not want to close the file. The last tab here is for programs that do have match dollars, so you would want to enter this match information before you hit the submit button. But in this example, I didn't want to go into it just because it's such a simple tab to fill out. So you would just put in the date, the source or description of the match dollars, the type it is, and then the amount. So let's go ahead and look at our submissions tab after we hit this sign and submit button. You can see that we have $48,420 of pending submissions. And if we go back to our claim tab, none of those have been approved, so they don't go here. So I'm going to have to pause the recording, and I'm going to go ahead and review this submission and submit it. So I'm going to hit pause, and then when we come back, we'll see all the numbers over here and approved. We'll see our appended numbers change to the approved numbers, and we'll see the claim tab filled out. So just a moment, and you'll see these changes. All right, I just finished approving the expenses using the UFA Administrator Use Only section. And you can see that all of our pending expenses are now at 0. All our approved have been added up here. And we can see our approved sections submissions right here. So this 48,420 is there. Now if we go to our claim tab, hey, look at that. All of those are filled in just like our expenses tab is filled in. Now note that this claim period start and end hasn't been filled out, but I just want to show you that all of this is properly populated. So we have a current remaining balance here. Well, let's assume that that these expenses should be cleared out because every month this company or this program has very different expenses. So they are not recurrent. So let's go ahead and hit clear. Clears all the numbers. We go back to our claim tab and we have a fresh start. So this is essentially as if it was November 1st, and we can go ahead and start all over again. Enter expenses, enter our boxes for our claim tab here. We can sign and submit and start over again. Again, if you have match income to report, go ahead and also report that. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions, please reach out to your UFA representative. We'd be happy to assist you. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.